All right, today we're going deep. I mean, really deep. We're going inside our own cells to look at the tiny, powerful engine that runs pretty much all life on Earth. This is the absolute core of our metabolism. I mean, think about it for a second. You eat a sandwich, and somehow that becomes the energy you use to walk, to talk, even just to think. How does that actually happen? How does food become you? Well, the answer is this amazing piece of biological machinery. It's a molecular engine that's been perfected over billions of years, and its one job is to turn the stuff we eat into the energy that keeps us going. So, what is this thing exactly? The citric acid cycle is basically the main event of cellular respiration. Now, you might have heard it called other things like the Krebs cycle or even the TCA cycle. Don't worry, they're all just different names for the same incredible process. Okay, but here's the catch. The cycle is kind of like an exclusive club. You can't just walk in. The main fuel from sugar, this molecule called pyruvate, has to be changed first. It needs to be made into a special key that can actually unlock the door to the cycle. And this is how that key gets made. First, pyruvate travels into the mitochondria, that's the cell's powerhouse. Then a carbon atom gets snipped right off and is released as CO2. The two carbons that are left over get oxidized, which is just a fancy way of saying some of their energy gets harvested. Finally, that piece gets attached to something called coenzyme A, and voila, you've got acetyl-CoA. That is our golden ticket. Okay, key in hand, we're ready. We've officially gained entry. It's time to step inside and see how the citric acid cycle really works. Oh, and real quick, where exactly is all this happening? Well, for us complex critters, eukaryotes, it's all going down in the very center of our mitochondria. For simpler life, like bacteria, it just happens right out in the main fluid of the cell, the cytoplasm. Now, the reason it's called a cycle is because it ends right where it begins, ready to go again. And it all kicks off with a kind of molecular handshake. So our two-carbon key, acetyl-CoA, doesn't just enter an empty room. There's a 4-carbon molecule waiting for it, called oxaloacetate. They join together, and 2 plus 4 makes 6, right? Well, they form a 6-carbon molecule called citrate. And there you have it. That's the citric acid that gives the cycle its name. Now that we've made citrate, the engine really starts to turn. From here on out, it's all about systematically breaking that molecule apart to do two main things: get rid of waste and capture a whole lot of energy. So in the next couple of steps, 2 of those 6 carbons get chopped off and released as carbon dioxide. And here's something wild. That is the exact same CO2 you're breathing out right this second. But it's not just about taking out the trash. As those carbons break away, the cycle grabs the energy and loads it onto special little battery packs called NADH. This is our first big energy win. Now, most of that energy is being stored in those battery packs for later. But the cycle does give us one little piece of energy that we can use right away. Think of it as some pocket change. In one of the steps, the cycle makes one single molecule of ATP directly. It's not a huge amount for sure, but it's an instant energy payout, which is always nice. So we've gotten rid of our waste carbon and we've banked some energy. What now? This is where the sheer genius of the cycle comes in. The whole rest of the process is just about resetting the machine so it can do it all over again, and again, and again. So over the last few steps, that remaining 4-carbon molecule gets shuffled around and reshaped. And while that's happening, the cycle manages to squeeze out even more energy, loading up another type of battery pack called FADH₂ and one last NADH. And then just like magic, it's transformed back into that original starting molecule, oxaloacetate. It's perfectly reset, just waiting for the next key to arrive. Okay, so the wheel has gone full circle. We put our key in, we turn the crank, we got some stuff out. Let's do a little accounting here. What's the final haul? What did we actually get for our trouble? For every single spin, here's what we walk away with. We get that one molecule of ready-to-use ATP. But the real treasure, the big prize, are what I like to call energy vouchers. We get 3 of those NADH molecules and 1 FADH₂. These aren't cash themselves, but they're basically winning lottery tickets for a massive energy payout down the line. And that right there is the whole point. See, the main job of the citric acid cycle isn't to make that one little ATP. Its real purpose is to load up as many of these NADH and FADH₂ vouchers as possible. These then get taken to a different part of the cell to be cashed in for almost all the energy our bodies use. So, what's the final count? When you take all those vouchers and cash them in, that single molecule of acetyl-CoA that started this whole thing ends up giving us about 12 ATPs. Now that is a fantastic return on investment. So let's just zoom out and see the whole journey one last time. We start with sugar, split it into pyruvate. That pyruvate gets forged into our key, acetyl-CoA. The citric acid cycle spins, processes the key, spits out CO2, and loads up all those energy vouchers. And finally, those vouchers are cashed in for a massive amount of ATP that powers, well, everything. And I really want this to sink in. This isn't some diagram in a textbook. Right now, as you're sitting here listening to my voice, this cycle is spinning millions upon millions of times per second inside almost every single one of your trillions of cells. It's the constant, silent hum of life itself. And, maybe the most incredible part of all of this is that this exact same elegant 8-step process isn't just in you. It's in the tiniest bacterium in the soil. It's in the tallest redwood tree. It's in a blue whale. It's a fundamental piece of software for life, an evolutionary masterpiece that has powered our planet for billions of years.